Heartwarming discovery, billionaire CEO encounters 4 street girls who are his wife's amazing legacy. Michael Thompson, the self-made billionaire with a polished penthouse view of Lake Michigan, lived in a world of cold metal and glass, a fortress wrapped in wealth, yet hollow inside. The buzz of his tech giant thrummed through his bones, but since Sarah's tragic passing, the high-rises felt like prison bars. He projected success with his designer suits, but his heart ached like a ghost haunting empty rooms. Each tick of the clock echoed the absence of laughter shared, dreams nurtured, and lives touched by her tireless passion for those in need. On one fateful afternoon, Michael found himself pacing through the sterile halls of a community center, a donation check in hand. The cheerful chatter of children was lost on him like background noise. He felt like a puppet on strings, only here to meet his obligation, checking off another box on his busy calendar. But everything changed when he stumbled into a sunlit room where smiles glowed amidst shadows. A trio of teenage girls, Sophie, Mia, and Jessica, were busy sketching on the floor, surrounded by brightly colored art supplies. Alongside them sat Lilly, her guarded eyes darting away, a fortress of silence built around her. "What are you working on?" Michael asked, forcing his voice to sound cheerful, hoping they would engage. Sophie looked up, her hazel eyes sparkling with passion. "Just our dreams," she murmured shyly. "I'm painting a mural for the shelter." That simple answer pierced him, igniting memories of Sarah, igniting dreams in the hearts of youth with a single smile. Michael felt warmth flutter inside him. Mia chimed in, "I want to go to college and be a teacher. I want to give back like Sarah did." A lump formed in his throat as Jessica, defiant and fierce, added, "I've got ideas for a business, but it's hard in our neighborhood." And then there was Lilly, the fragile protector of her dreams, quiet and hesitant like a closed book yearning to be opened. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned to weeks, and Michael attempted to connect their worlds. A tour of his office felt like a letdown, a performance that fell flat against the raw authenticity of their lives. Awkward conversations made him realize how much he had been shielded from realities far harsher than his corporate realm. Then one day, the community center faced a crisis, and panic gripped him. What if he stayed in his chaos instead of facing this moment of chaos for them? At a town hall meeting that followed, Michael saw a future unfolding, teetering on the edge of determination and fear. He could feel the urgency of societal prejudice pressuring him to speak up, to show vulnerability. What would he expose about himself? Each heartbeat echoed a question: could he choose the gritty, vibrant life of these girls over his transactional empire? The clock ticked down as he stood, heart pounding, ready to confront the truths he had hidden from himself. Suddenly, everything he built could come crashing down, or maybe be transformed for something greater. Would it mean surrendering his carefully crafted life? The weight of his next decision hung heavy in the air, leaving the audience breathlessly awaiting his choice. Legacy. Michael stood at the front of the town hall, his fingers clenched around the lectern. The room was filled with concerned faces, all staring at him expectantly. Each pair of eyes seemed to demand answers, clarity, hope. His pulse raced as he wrestled with his thoughts, caught between the fears of his privileged existence and the raw reality of the lives he was beginning to understand. I didn't come here just to write a check," he began, his voice wavered, feeling foreign after so many years of board meetings where he assumed authority. "I came because, well, I saw something beautiful in the community center. Something that reminded me of my wife." He paused, emotion pooling in his throat. She believed in lifting others, in transforming lives. A wave of murmurs rippled through the crowd. He could see that they didn't expect this, didn't he expect him to open up. He felt like a child, vulnerable in the spotlight. But for the first time in months, the tight knot in his chest loosened. He was real, like them. I want to do more than just help financially. I want to be involved, he continued, his voice gaining strength. These girls, Sophie, Mia, Jessica, and Lilly, have dreams, and I want to help them realize those dreams. But I need your help too. I can't do this alone. Murmurs turned to gasps, surprise painted on faces. Michael felt a shift. It wasn't just about his wealth anymore, it was about community, collaboration, and confronting the unspoken barriers that separated him from the girls who were beginning to feel like family. After the meeting, he became more than the aloof billionaire. Parents approached him, children laughed as they recognized him from the center. Each conversation reignited a flicker of hope and purpose within him. Michael started working with the community center, offering resources, workshops, and mentorship. Together, they planned fundraising events, a gala at his penthouse, a bake sale in the neighborhood, a month-long art exhibition showcasing the girls' talents. Weeks glided by, and life began to change. Lilly, now more at ease, stepped out of her shell, volunteering to lead an art class. Michael watched her blossom, each brushstroke like a revelation. Sophie and Mia coordinated a literacy program, empowered and eager to give back. Jessica, with her fierce ambition, began crafting a business proposal that would help local artisans sell their products. Each girl added a splash of color to the canvases of their dreams, yet, a knot of anxiety still lingered for Michael. What would happen when the spotlight faded? Deep down, he feared he might slip back into the solitude of the high rises, alone with his thoughts. Make-believe moments of connection wouldn't fill the void left by Sarah or the warmth of their laughter. Then one morning, Lilly approached him after class, her hands slightly trembling. "Mr. Thompson, can I talk to you?" "Of course, Lilly. What's on your mind?" Michael crouched to her level, searching her tentative gaze. I'm scared," she admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if all of this changes everything? What if we fail?" Her raw honesty struck him hard. He had woven dreams for her, but now he saw the shakes of uncertainty mirrored in her eyes. It cracked open a window into the vulnerability they all shared, layered beneath ambition, fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of dreaming too large. Michael took a deep breath, a new understanding dawning on him. What if we fail? Then we learn. We get back up and try again. That's where true strength lies, Lilly. But how far would that strength take them? How would they confront the darker realities of their world? As he walked home that evening, his mind spun with possibilities, and just as he reached the door to his penthouse, a sudden thought jolted him. What if the true legacy was not just about dreams fulfilled, but rather the trials and triumphs they would share together? The door creaked open, but instead of stepping in, he hesitated. Perhaps it was time to dive even deeper, to unveil more of himself, and join the girls. Not just in spirit but in every sense. And with a resolve, he whispered to himself, what comes next could change everything. Would he truly be willing to risk it all for a chance at real connection and healing? Michael paced the floor of his penthouse, the familiar luxury feeling stifling. Each step echoed his anxiety, and he felt the weight of the moment pressing down on him. The memories of the town hall meeting replayed in his mind, the faces, the eagerness, the hope. He pictured Lilly's trembling hands, her fear echoing his own. He had committed to being there for the girls, to help them chase their dreams, but what about his own? What had he sacrificed by hiding in his high-rise bubble? For so long, he had defined success in terms of wealth and numbers. Now, standing at the crossroads of his former life and this new frontier, he felt lost. A sudden knock at the door broke his thoughts. He opened it to find Sophie, her enthusiasm palpable as she practically burst into the room. "Mr. Thompson. We're meeting at the center tomorrow to finalize details for the art exhibition. It's going to be incredible." Her excitement was infectious. Michael felt his lips curve into a smile. "I wouldn't miss it for the world, Sophie." But beneath that smile, uncertainty lingered. "How are the girls feeling about the exhibition?" Sophie's expression softened, revealing a flicker of concern. "They're excited, but I think they're also nervous. It's a big deal. This is their chance to show the world who they are. What if they fail?" Michael blurted out. The words hung in the air, heavy with dread. Sophie tilted her head, her bright eyes full of understanding. "But what if they don't? What if it's the start of something amazing?" "You're right," he said, although doubt still lingered at the back of his mind. The next day, Michael arrived at the community center, the sun spilling golden light onto the sidewalk like a warm embrace. Inside, the atmosphere buzzed with energy. The girls buzzed as they set up for the exhibition, their laughter filling the air. He could see the paintings, each canvas bursting with color and emotion, representing more than just art but pieces of their stories. As he moved through the room, he noticed a painting that caught his breath. It was a vibrant explosion of colors that represented family, love, and acceptance. He felt it resonate deep within him. "Who did this?" he asked, approaching the canvas. "That's Jessica S." Lilly shouted, pride saturating her voice. "Wow, it's incredible," Michael said, feeling a stir of admiration. "What inspired this?" Jessica shrugged but smiled. "I wanted to show what family means to me. That it's not just about blood, but about support and knowing you belong." Michael's chest tightened at her words. "You've captured that beautifully." As the evening progressed, they chatted freely, the bond between them visible, tangible. He was no longer just the benefactor, he was a friend, an ally. He could see their confidence shining through, illuminating the room. But as the night wore on, another wave of vulnerability washed over him. The whispers of past loneliness crept back into his mind, reminding him how easily he could retreat into his empty world again. Then, at the height of the evening, someone tapped him on the shoulder. It was Mia. "Michael, can you help us with something?" Her voice was small, yet determined. "Absolutely. What do you need?" "We want to thank you for everything. For believing in us and being here," she said, and suddenly, the room quieted, all eyes on him. Michael felt warmth spread through him, but fear gripped him too. What if he wasn't enough? What if he couldn't keep this connection alive? Feeling the weight of their gaze, he took a deep breath and spoke. "I didn't come here just for you all. You've changed me, too. You've opened my heart in ways I didn't think were possible." Murmurs of surprise rippled through the crowd, and Michael felt a shift. This was about more than just dreams, they were building sincere relationships right before his eyes. But an unsettling thought flashed through his mind. What challenges were lurking just beyond this moment? What barriers would they face in the future as they pursued their dreams? As music played and laughter filled the air, Michael stood at a precipice. He had crossed a threshold into a community that was both healing and terrifying. Could he maintain the magic of this moment when life got tough? He watched the girls, their smiles bright and hopeful. It struck him that he wasn't ready to go back to the way things were. He needed to be all in. And as the energy swirled around him, a new question emerged: what would happen if he risked everything to embrace this newfound family? The next day dawned bright and clear, a canvas of blue stretching across the skyline. Michael stood at the large window of his penthouse, watching the city below come to life. He felt an unexpected urge to step outside, to embrace the morning instead of shutting himself away in his luxury bubble. At the community center, the excitement buzzed like a live wire. The paintings hung proudly on the walls, vibrant and full of life, each one a testament to the emotions and stories of the girls. As Michael entered, he was greeted by shouts of glee and smiles that lit up the room. "Michael!" Lilly called, waving him over. The girls gathered around him, their faces radiant, their energy infectious. "Ready for the big day?" he asked, trying to match their enthusiasm, even as a twinge of self-doubt nagged at him. "More than ready," Jessica chimed, her eyes sparkling. "This is our moment." He nodded, admiring their courage. They had been so nervous leading up to this day, but now they stood tall, proud of their work and each other. It filled him with warmth to see how far they had come. As the doors opened for the exhibition, a wave of visitors flooded in. Michael felt a surge of anxiety mixed with excitement. People milled around, intrigued by the vibrant paintings. The chatter rose and fell, punctuated by gasps of admiration at the girls' artwork. "Look at that one!" a woman exclaimed, pointing at Mia's piece, a haunting representation of resilience. "It's so powerful." Michael felt a swell of pride. These girls had created something truly beautiful, something that resonated with people. It was more than art, this was their voice. Hours passed in a blur of conversations, laughter, and art reviews. Michael mingled with guests, his earlier fears fading into the background. He reveled in the connections the girls were forging, the way they engaged with others, their confidence blossoming before his eyes. But just as he began to feel at ease, a cloud of worry settled in. What if this was fleeting? What if after today, they slipped back into the shadows, where doubt and fear lingered? Then Mia approached him, her expression serious. "Do you think we can do it again?" she asked quietly, her eyes searching his. "What do you mean?" he replied, feeling a knot tighten in his stomach. "Host another exhibition. Or something bigger. We don't want this to be a one-time thing. We want to keep going, keep sharing." Her words were filled with hope and determination. Michael's heart raced at the prospect. "I'd love that," he said, rousing himself from his thoughts. "This is just the beginning. We can make it happen." A smile broke across her face, and Michael felt a rush of excitement. He could see how passionate they were, how hungry for the spotlight, for recognition. They weren't just showcasing their art, they were stepping boldly into their futures. But as he looked around the gallery, taking in the happiness swirling in the air, a dark thought flickered at the edges of his mind. What if the world outside this room didn't welcome them the same way? What if they faced rejection or, worse, indifference? Reality crashed into the moment. The thrill of today could be overshadowed by the struggles of tomorrow. A lump formed in his throat as he realized how much he wanted to protect these girls from that pain. "Michael," Sophie called, breaking his thoughts. "You should see how well they're connecting with the guests. You're making a real difference." Her words sparked a new resolve within him. If he wanted to build a future for them, he couldn't let fear dictate the terms. He needed to be their pillar, a steadfast ally as they navigated their journey together. He glanced at the girls, their laughter intertwining with art and dreams. They needed guidance, and he was willing to fight for their future. But what would he have to sacrifice to keep them safe? As the exhibition continued into the evening, Michael felt a shift deep within. Could he embrace the challenges that lay ahead? Just how far was he willing to go to defend this newfound family he had found? The question lingered over him as the night wore on, and the sound of laughter faded into a tense silence. Would he truly risk everything? As the exhibition wound down, guests began to trickle out, their faces still glowing with the warmth of discovery. Michael stood by the entrance, saying his goodbyes, but his mind was racing. The success of today had opened a door, but it also raised a storm of questions. Would they be able to maintain this momentum? Could these girls really carve out a space for themselves in a world that often overlooked them? "Michael," Lilly said, her voice cutting through his thoughts, "can we talk?" She led him toward a quieter corner of the gallery, paintings illuminating their faces in vibrant splashes. Lilly's hands fiddled nervously with the edges of her shirt. "What if we don't get another chance like this?" she asked, her brow furrowed in genuine concern. "Lilly, I believe in you. I believe in all of you," he reassured her, his heart aching at the vulnerability in her eyes. Today was only the beginning. We're going to find more opportunities. We'll keep pushing. But what if we fail? She pressed, anxiety simmering just beneath the surface. What if people don't care about our art? What if we're just forgotten? The uncertainty in her voice hit him hard. They were still so fragile, like freshly sprouted flowers battling against a chilling wind. I'm not going to let that happen. I won't let anyone forget you, he vowed, driven by a fierce desire to shield them. As he spoke, he noticed the others gathering nearby: Mia, Jessica, and Sophie, and their expressions mirrored Lily's anxious resolve. Michael took a deep breath. It felt like he was standing on the edge of something monumental, ready to leap, but the edge didn't seem stable. A loud burst of laughter from a group of guests made him turn, that small joy drawing a sense of normalcy back to the night. The atmosphere, however, was bittersweet. Had they really reached a turning point, or was this just a momentary high? Let's make a plan, he said, a sudden clarity piercing through his doubts. What do you girls want? What's your dream? Mia's face brightened, determination replacing hesitation. I want to travel and show our art around the world. I want other kids like us to find their voices. Jessica added, her enthusiasm infectious. A sense of purpose began to weave through the group, their fears giving way to the thrill of possibility. Michael felt the weight of hope push back against his earlier dread. Just then, Sophie stepped forward, her brows knitted in thought. But how do we start? We can't do everything at once. He looked into her earnest eyes. We'll start small, maybe a series of workshops or community outreach programs. Teach kids how to express themselves through art in schools, maybe even online. The girls nodded, the spark in their eyes igniting a fire in his gut. They were ready. They were going to take on the challenge, and he would be by their side every step of the way, but even as they envisioned their future, a gnawing sense of unease remained. Who would be with them when they faced rejection? What if some doors were slammed in their faces? The thought lingered, like a shadow at the edges of their unified strength. As they brainstormed excitedly, Michael's mind couldn't shake the terror of failure. Was his support enough to bolster them against the harsh realities they would inevitably encounter? Michael, Mia said suddenly, the intensity of her gaze drawing him back to the present. Will you help us? Will you be there when we need you? He felt the weight of that question settle in his chest. It was more than a promise, it was a commitment to a journey that would test not just the girls, but him as well. Could he uphold that promise amidst the fear and pressure? I will, he said, firm and unyielding. I'll be there through it all. But deep inside, he wondered if he was truly ready for the battles that lay ahead. As they finally wrapped up the night, a sense of excitement filled the air, but a nagging voice whispered doubts into his mind. Would the world welcome them as they hoped? And just as they stepped out into the cool evening air, the phone in his pocket buzzed. Unexpectedly, an unknown number, a call that could change everything. Would it be the opportunity they needed, or a challenge that would shake their resolve? Michael stared at his phone as it vibrated against the fabric of his pocket, the screen lighting up with that unknown number. A low thrum of anxiety crawled up his spine, twisting and knotting his gut. Was this it? The moment they had been waiting for, or just another reminder of how precarious their situation was? Who is it? Lilly asked, her voice barely a whisper, the anticipation hanging thick in the air. I don't know, he replied, glancing at the small group surrounding him. Each girl wore a hopeful look, their faces illuminated by the street lamps. The cheers of the gallery crowd still echoed in his ears, but here, surrounded by the girls, the world felt as if it balanced on a knife's edge. Are you going to answer it? Jessica asked, an eagerness bubbling just beneath her uncertainty. Taking a deep breath, Michael swiped to answer the call. Hello? There was silence for a moment, just the crackle of impulse on the line. Then a deep, smooth voice broke through. Michael? This is Eliza Cross. I'm the director of the National Arts Initiative. His heart raced. Eliza Cross? He'd heard her name whispered among dreamers, a beacon in the realm of art. She was known for finding unpolished talent and showcasing it like diamonds in the rough. Miss Cross, he stammered, trying to keep his voice steady. What can I do for you? After seeing the exhibition tonight, I was impressed, she continued. Your girls have potential that must be nourished. I want to discuss a mentorship program that we're developing, focusing on the very voices your girls are cultivating. A wave of exhilaration surged through him. This could be the break they needed, the chance to reach heights they might have only dreamed of. That sounds incredible. Please, however, Eliza interrupted, her tone shifting to one of caution. There's something you should know. This program is highly competitive. I want to support you, but I'll need you and the girls to be ready for an exhausting journey. An unshakable gravity filled the air around them. Michael's mind jumped ahead. Could they handle this? The prospect excited him, but the fear of failing them crept back in. Can I bring the girls into this discussion? He asked, the weight of the moment bearing down on him. Absolutely. But you'll have to prepare them for tough feedback and rigorous expectations. He glanced at them, their eyes wide with anticipation. Lilly's gaze was filled with both hope and fear, reflecting what he felt inside. We're ready, he said with conviction, but the uncertainty lingered in his throat. Great. Let us meet tomorrow afternoon at the cafe next to the gallery, Eliza suggested. I'll lay out the details, but be prepared at 1 to be easy. As he hung up, the gravity of what he had just agreed to settled in. The girls' voices rose in a flurry of excitement, each squealing her dreams louder than the last. I can't believe this. Mia shouted, bouncing on her toes. We're going to do this, aren't we? Jessica added, her eyes shimmering with possibility. Michael felt a mix of pride and fear swell within him. Yes, but remember what she said, hard work is expected, he cautioned, wanting to ground their soaring hopes. The sparkling excitement dulled just a bit, replaced by glimmers of reality. Would they really be able to face the challenges ahead? Could they endure the scrutiny of the art world? But the first flicker of determination ignited in Lilly's expression. If that's what it takes to be heard, we'll do it. I don't want anyone to forget us. Her words resonated, igniting a flame in Michael's heart. They were not just artists, they were warriors ready for battle. With newfound resolve, they made plans for the next few weeks, preparing for an uncertain future that now held promise. A future where their art could reach beyond the gallery walls, and as the night deepened around them, Michael couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. But would they hold on to their drive when confronted with harsh truths and harsh critics? The question loomed in the air, heavy and unanswered, signifying the challenges that lay ahead. What would happen when the reality of their choices began to unfold? The next day felt like an electric storm, charged with hope and anxiety as Michael made his way to the cafe. The warm air wrapped around him, almost suffocating in its intensity. He kept glancing at the clock, his heart thumping hard against his chest. Breathe, just breathe, he muttered, trying to calm himself. Family and friends wished him good luck, but their words faded into a background hum. Today was important. When he arrived, the cafe was buzzing with the chatter of artists and dreamers, a wild mix of enthusiasm. Michael found an empty table and settled in, running his fingers over the worn oak surface, the texture grounding him. He imagined Lilly, Jessica, Mia. They were on the brink of something monumental. Minutes later, the door swung open, and the girls rushed in, laughter trailing behind them like the morning sun. Lilly led the charge, a bundle of energy, followed closely by Jessica and Mia. They spotted him instantly, and like a magnet, their eyes unified in determination. Sorry we're late. Lilly exclaimed, her cheeks flushed with excitement. No worries, Michael smiled, relieved to see them so spirited. This is big. How are you all feeling? We're ready, Jessica said, palms pressed together as if in prayer. Mia nodded vigorously, her braids bouncing. "Bring it on. We want to hear everything." Before Michael could respond, Eliza entered. She cut through the cafe's current, her presence commanding the space. Dressed smartly, with an air of confidence, she approached their table. "Good to see you all," she greeted, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "I hope you're ready for what's ahead." Michael could sense the tension creeping back into the girls, the weight of expectations heavy in the air. "We're definitely up for the challenge," he said, injecting reassurance into his tone. "Good. Then let's get started." Eliza settled into a chair, her demeanor shifting to focus. She pulled out papers from her sleek leather bag, creating a small battleground of possibilities before them. "To make this work, you'll need to be willing to refine your art and yourselves." Each word reverberated around their little group, each girl absorbing elation and trepidation all at once. The mentorship program isn't just about techniques, it's about resilience. You will face criticism, long nights, and collaborative challenges. Lily's jaw clenched as she processed the implications. "What if we can't handle it?" Eliza's gaze was steady. "Then you must learn to. Great art doesn't come without sacrifice. But it will take dedication from all of you." Silence enveloped them for a moment, thoughts swirling in Michael's mind. He watched his girls, their youthful faces gradually morphing into determination. They were looking for strength. He knew they had it, he just had to help them see it. "And remember," Eliza said, her voice a steady force, "growth happens in discomfort. Each of you have a unique voice almost in harmony with one another, but I need you to lean into that struggle." "Like a band?" Mia asked, her fingers tapping against the table, rattling off ideas. "Exactly," Eliza replied, a faint smile. "Art is about collaboration as much as it is about individual expression." Michael felt a warm glow rise within him. This was the moment they'd been working toward. A chance to turn vulnerability into strength, a chance to soar. As Eliza laid out the mentorship plans, their dreams began to unfurl like petals exposing vibrant colors. Ideas clashed, excitement mixed with fear, and the cafe became their launchpad, but in the back of Michael's mind, a doubt lingered. Would they be able to keep the spark alive when the road got tough? Just then, Eliza glanced at Michael and asked, "How committed are you to pushing these girls toward greatness?" The question echoed deep and loaded. He opened his mouth to respond, but nothing came out. Could he hold fast when storms brewed on the horizon? Would he be their anchor or let them drift? He felt an urgent pulse of responsibility and excitement collide in his chest. Tomorrow would reveal whether they could embrace the struggles ahead. Moving boldly into the unknown. What would it take to unite against the challenges that could derail their dreams? Michael's stomach churned as Eliza's question hung in the air. The weight of it pressed down on him. He rubbed his palms together, feeling the sweat begin to build. How committed was he, truly? He shot a quick glance at the girls. Their faces radiated hope and fear all at once. He needed to say something, but the right words slipped away like smoke. "You're not alone in this," Eliza continued, sensing the atmosphere shift. "This journey is about teamwork. Strength doesn't just come from within, it comes from supporting each other." "Right," Lilly said suddenly, her voice trembling slightly. "And if we fall, we pick each other up. We can do this together." "Exactly," Eliza answered, igniting a flicker of confidence in the room. "We want to see you rise, but it will mean embracing vulnerability too. Each experience has the power to shape your journey." Loud laughter from a nearby table broke through their focused conference, and the girls exchanged glances. Jessica leaned back, taking a deep breath. "What if we're not good enough? What if we mess it all up?" The uncertainty hung like a thick fog. "It's not about being good enough," Eliza replied firmly. "It's about growth. It's okay to stumble, what matters is how you learn to stand again and keep moving forward." Her words ignited something in Michael. Until that moment, he had been locked in his doubts. But now, as he watched the girls begin to open up to the possibilities, he felt a spark reignite in his own heart. "What if I push you too hard?" he confessed, surprising himself with the admission. "What if I believe in you, and it turns out I was wrong?" The silence that followed was heavy. Eliza regarded him thoughtfully. "Then you adapt. You listen. Growth is a two-way street." At that moment, Michael knew he had to find a way to shed his fears and step into this new chapter with them. It wasn't just about their dreams, it was about him finding his role as their guide. "I won't let fear steer our ship," he vowed softly. "I'll learn with you." Lilly grinned, bouncing in her seat. "See, we're all in this together. We can lean on each other when it gets tough." "Right," Mia chimed in, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "We can create something incredible." With renewed vigor, they began to brainstorm and share ideas for their art. They bounced concepts off one another, exploring new territories and discovering parts of themselves that remained hidden. Laughter filled the cafe, weaving through the clinking of cups and murmurs of other patrons. Michael watched them, heart swelling. Each idea was like a beam of light breaking through the clouds, illuminating their potential. Yet, even as joy flooded the space, a flicker of worry crossed his mind. What if the pressures of ambition weighed too heavy later? As they wrapped up their session, Eliza stood, her voice steady. "Remember, you aren't just artists, you're a team. Trust each other and yourselves." They all nodded, but Michael felt a familiar doubt creep back in. "Can I really be a part of this movement?" he thought. As they left the cafe, the sky began to change, a tempest brewing on the horizon. Michael realized the storm wasn't just about the weather, but the one inside him. Would they weather the coming storms together, or would the fierce winds tear them apart? The question loomed large. Tomorrow would unveil the first true test of their resolve, and Michael felt his heart thud with anticipation. What challenges awaited them, hidden in the fabric of their dreams? He knew one thing: there would be no turning back. The next day dawned with heavy clouds swirling above, casting a shadow over Michael's chest. He stood in front of the mirror, the reflection staring back felt foreign. Today was the day. The day they would present their ideas to the Community Art Center, a glorious chance, or a crushing failure. The tension wrapped around him like a coil, tightening with each passing moment. Michael arrived at the center early, needing to soak in the space before anyone else arrived. He paced the floor of the gallery, his heart pounding. The bright walls were adorned with impressive murals, each a testament to creative power. A flicker of inspiration surged through him, but it was quickly snuffed by doubt. What if their work didn't resonate? What if they were met with indifference? Just as he spiraled into that familiar whirlpool of anxiety, the door swung open, and in walked the girls. Their energy filled the empty room like sunlight breaking through clouds. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement, while Mia bounced on her toes, ready for action. Jessica lingered back slightly while Eliza stood confidently at the forefront. "Michael!" Lilly called, her enthusiasm contagious. "We're here. Are you ready?" He forced a smile, but inside he felt like an imposter. "Ready as I can be," he muttered, trying to shake off the apprehension. The girls gathered around him, their faces eager and hopeful. "Remember what we talked about yesterday," Eliza reminded, her voice steady. "We're a team. We lift each other up." Nodding, Michael drew strength from her words. Together, they arranged their materials, colorful sketches, vibrant swatches of paint, and digital designs. Each piece represented their voices, their dreams woven together into something bigger. As they worked, the laughter and camaraderie transformed the abstract fear into something tangible. They shared stories about their inspirations, each tale revealing a little more of their hearts. Michael found himself opening up too, sharing his dreams, his worries, and the oft-hidden depths of his passion for art. With every word, he felt lighter, more connected to them. An hour slipped away before Michael even noticed. Just as they finalized their presentation, the sound of footsteps echoed in the hall. It was their first audience, a handful of gallery staff and curious local creators. A wave of nerves crashed over him, and he glanced at the girls, who all nodded encouragingly. "Let us do this," he whispered, determination rising in him. One by one, they explained their vision. Lilly spoke about resilience, how art could be a bridge to heal communities. Mia shared her creative process, emphasizing authenticity and heart in every stroke. Jessica's voice trembled but steadied as she marked the importance of collaboration. Eliza led with grace, weaving their thoughts into a cohesive narrative. As they presented, Michael felt a shift within. The fear that had gripped him loosened, transforming into pride. He watched the audience lean in, wide-eyed and engaged. They connected over shared experiences, and laughter bubbled up as the girls playfully conveyed their passions, but just as he felt the tide turn, an indignant voice broke through the applause. A woman in the crowd, arms crossed. "This is just idealism. What have you really accomplished?" The air thickened with tension, and Michael's heart raced. He saw the flicker of doubt in the girl's eyes. Would this voice overshadow their hard work? More importantly, how could he protect them? "Not every achievement is material," he found himself saying, his voice steadying. "Growth isn't measured in trophies but in heart. Today, we're sharing more than ideas, we're sharing ourselves. And that's where real art begins." The room fell silent. He let the words sink in, feeling raw in their honesty. Would they accept his reflection? The woman's eyebrow arched, but something in the crowd shifted. Nervous laughter turned into nods of understanding and agreement. As they stood there, Michael realized this journey was just beginning. It was a step into the uncharted waters of vulnerability and community. But the biggest question loomed yet, echoing louder than before: would they have the strength to continue, no matter the challenges thrown their way? Michael's heart raced anew, knowing the real test lay ahead. Days flew by in a kaleidoscope of activity. Michael watched the girls grow like wildflowers breaking through concrete. They met regularly, brainstorming new ideas and embracing challenges. The mentorship program opened doors, but it also introduced them to harsh criticism and stark realities. One sunny afternoon, the community center showcased the girls' latest art pieces, bold interpretations of their stories, their struggles, and their triumphs. Michael felt a surge of pride as he surveyed the crowd that had gathered, familiar faces and newcomers alike, all eager to witness the brilliance unfolding before them. Yet, he couldn't shake the tension looming in the back of his mind. Every successful day came with the fear of falling back into uncertainty. As guests walked through the exhibition, reactions were mixed. Some eyes sparkled with admiration, while others flicked dismissively at the unconventional pieces. He could feel the girls' energy dimmer with each critical comment they overheard. Would they remain resilient in the face of doubt? Jessica's voice broke through the buzz of uncertainty. "What if they don't see how much effort we put into this?" she whispered, her face tucked into the shadows of worry. Michael knelt beside her, eyeing her art that pulsated with warmth. "Jessica, this is your heart on that canvas. Not everyone sees it the way we do, but that doesn't take away from its beauty." Slowly, he felt the comfort of their connection wrapping around both of them like a warm blanket. He knew it was time to remind them of the strength they all carried within. With determination lighting his eyes, he gathered the girls. "Look around you. The people who truly matter are here to celebrate you. Let us talk to them. Engage them. Make them see your passion and your talent." Taking a deep breath, the girls nodded, and with Michael easing the way, they moved into the crowd, ready to confront the criticisms and convert them into conversations. One by one, they engaged the people who had earlier dismissed them, articulating their visions and weaving thoughtful narratives of their art. The dynamic shifted. Conversations sparked like fireworks, laughter bubbled like soda pop, and the air that had felt heavy began to lift. The girls radiated confidence, and pride surged through Michael's heart. They were not just surviving, they were thriving. Later that evening, after the buzz wound down and the crowd filtered out, Michael felt a rush of affection for the girls who transformed this journey through their growth. But a creeping worry lingered still. Could he keep this newfound family together? As the found space settled into stillness, Lilly approached him, her voice sweet yet uncertain. "Michael, what if this all crumbles? What if one day we wake up, and it's gone?" Her brown eyes were sparkling with tears. He felt her fear inside himself, echoing in ways he hadn't faced before. Then he realized the real answer was not rooted in certainty, but the commitment they had forged together. "Lilly, we're building something far more important than an exhibition or a label. We're creating a family that embraces every moment, good and bad. We rise and fall together. That's what legacy is about." As the words left his mouth, a light flickered in Lilly's gaze, and Michael felt a warmth bloom in the room. The community had begun to transform. They were part of a bigger picture, all of them woven together in paint, laughter, and shared dreams. Weeks turned into months. The girls' art program flourished, capturing attention from broader communities. They received support that lit a path to opportunities they had never envisioned. Each setback molded them into resilient creators. Michael stood right beside them, fiercely committed to their dreams as they all shared the burdens and joys alike. During a particularly emotional exhibition, the girls unveiled a mural that embodied their journey together. Vibrant colors collided and intertwined on a massive canvas, depicting an unbreakable bond forged through adversity. Tears glistened in Michael's eyes as he beheld their creation. They had not only transformed their own lives but had also created an impact on those around them, leaving an indelible mark on a community that had once felt so distant from him. As he turned to the girls, their faces radiant with joy, Michael saw the echoes of Sarah in them. He felt her spirit lift them, guiding him as he committed to their continued growth. In that moment of connection, he knew he had not only found a family but had also healed the parts of himself he once believed were irreparable. Clutching their hands tightly, he whispered, "Together, we're unstoppable." And with that vow, they stepped into the future united and ready to soar. Now, if this journey touched your heart, you need to subscribe to the channel immediately so you don't miss out on more exclusive stories that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm's insatiable hunger. Your support makes a big difference. Comment below your feelings about this ending. Your thoughts matter. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Show the world the power of community and connection.